Hey Village, welcome to another episode of Red Lipstick Conversations. I am your host, Tasha Ray. Happy Friday! We made it. I don't know about you, but I feel like I have been fighting for my life today. And whew, when I say that not only has it been a long day, but it has been an extremely long month. It's as if it wouldn't come to an end. But it's going to be February. Whew, before we can even breathe in and breathe out. So I'm looking forward to February. I'm looking forward to Black History Month, even though there are some powers that feel like it should be a day that should be swept under the rug and or forgotten and or never ever mentioned again. Uh, I am thankful that, at least for me, in my circle, we are definitely going to be celebrating Black History Month with all the same enthusiasm that we do every year. There's going to be a plethora of events that I will be popping up at all over New York City. So if you happen to see somebody that is brown skin with red lips and a camera, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be me. Anyway, so today we are talking about beauty because I have a guest coming on the second half of this episode. And so to lay the foundation, we are going to kind of explore what or if there's any significance that beauty has. Obviously, we all know the saying that sex sells. And there's all of these sayings about pretty is as pretty does, but it is a form of currency that if you have it, you're able to move through the world differently than those that quote unquote don't. And when I'm speaking about beauty and or pretty, thank you so much for taking the time to join in and tap in, everyone on Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you might be. Thank you for taking the time to do so. But the reason why I'm speaking about beauty is because, well, it's something that I have had to navigate one way or another. And the thing that I find across the board is that women that are quote unquote traditionally beautiful are not the ones that have given themselves that designation. It is their peers, their family, and whomever. And a lot of the times, women that are beautiful are the ones that have the lowest self esteem because they feel like that is the only way that they can be um, defined is by how they look. And there was a recent interview that Halle Berry gave, and she was talking about how the first thing that people ever say to her upon meeting is how beautiful she is. And sitting down at all of the interviews that she sat down to do over her life and body of work, they always begin and almost end at her appearance. And she expressed how she found that to be disappointing and how she has tried to take on roles that show her grit and show her ability to flex her skill set beyond beauty. And so I just think that it's interesting that one of the most beautiful women in America, how she has viewed the idea and or construct of beauty as being something that doesn't always position herself in the best light. And so just reflecting over my life, there are times when I am complimented still, and my mind immediately dismisses the compliment because, well, I've just been conditioned that I should believe criticism over positivity. I think that has a lot to do with the career that I have been in for as many years as I've been in media. So there's this idea that there's obviously always going to be someone that is prettier or that is better put together. And so, again, that isn't something that I clung to. However, as I have said in a previous podcast, I do know that my appearance has been a characteristic that has enabled me to push forward in the various different settings in which I have worked. So it's kind of like a double edged sword in that personally, I haven't really seen a lot of benefit, I guess, from my appearance, but I do know that I have benefited from it. So, some of the synonyms, according to Webster, are attractive, good looking, nice looking, fetching. Um, those are just some of the words in addition to engaging. And I think that beauty has also gotten a bad rap because it has often been used kind of interchangeably with sexuality or promiscuity. And one of the reasons why I felt like it was important for me to create the platform Red Lipstick Conversations is because I wanted to highlight women that choose to operate in their feminine energy and choose to not play down their appearance for the sake of whatever they feel like is necessary, but instead they embrace their appearance and they wear bold colors, knowing that it's going to bring attention to themselves, but being comfortable in that. And basically, wearing it as a badge of honor as opposed to a scarlet letter. And I think that we are finally getting to the point in history where there are enough women that are speaking about how they are defining their womanhood, their sexuality, and all aspects of their personhood. And what I am gathering is that everyone wants to be seen as a whole person. Just because a person is attractive or beautiful or pretty doesn't mean that that is the only way in which they want to be seen. And I just think that it's just dangerous to feel that it's okay to label and or put certain people in a box just because of their appearance. So, as a mom, I feel like while I do tell my daughter that she is beautiful, I tell her all the time that she is smart. I tell her all the time that she's curious. And the point of me utilizing other adjectives is not just to use them, but I want her to know that her character is more important than her appearance. And even if you are the most attractive or beautiful person in the room, you all know somebody in your circle who fits the narrative of being attractive on the outside, but then being trash as far as how they treat people and as far as how they move through the world. And so I feel like it's important for people that are assigned the characteristic of beauty in particular to make sure that that isn't the only thing that they are leaning into or that we are leaning into. Um, I still am at my big age uncomfortable with, I guess, associating myself with that term in and of itself. I feel like um, I've worked so hard to be seen as a serious investigative journalist and photographer and things of that nature. And so, oftentimes in work settings, um, I have been, things have been said like, ah, so you're pretty and you have a brain. And even though people say those things and they feel like it is a joke, and it is a, I guess you could say, a harmless jab, but going back to one of the nursery rhymes that we grew up with as kids, "Sticks and stones can break our bones, but words can never hurt us." I think we all know that that is not true. And whether we are talking about the bullying that happens in the classroom, or um, the cyberbullying or the peer-to-peer bullying that happens in groups, I feel like we all know that words can be dangerous and that words are powerful and words have weight. So I just would like us, moving forward, if we would just kind of consider to be a little bit more empathetic to people that you may deem to be attractive, because there's this idea that if you're attractive, that you're bulletproof, that you don't have bad days, that whatever anyone says just slides off of you, because of course you're beautiful. So life, how difficult can life be if you're attractive, if there's always somebody looking to give you a favor or do something for you? But like I said, that hasn't always been my experience. And when it has been my experience, it has oftentimes been attached to strings that are not in my favor. So I just feel like we all just need to work a little bit harder to be a little bit more compassionate to one another. And especially when it comes to motherhood, I think that it's important, at least for me, to make sure that my daughter is surrounded by images that look like her. So for me, I refuse to buy her dolls and or toys that are white, because I feel like she's going to be the minority, the rest of her life. As far as society's standpoint, it doesn't matter about the population, but as far as who's in charge of media and who's in charge of the messaging, even if the population says that there's only, let's say, 25% white people, those are the ones that, unless a whole lot of stuff changes, those are going to still be the people that are in power, that are still going to be crafting the messages and narratives in movies, in music, and all the rest of the arts. So I feel that it is my responsibility as a parent to ensure that I'm instilling within her self-love, and that it is something that she can tap into internally, versus feeling like it's a cup that always has to be filled from an outside source. So I don't want this episode to feel as if I'm just giving a tutorial on the topic. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat wherever you are watching, and I'll do my best to either respond on this episode and or upcoming episodes, because I want this and all of my platforms to be as interactive as possible. But I do have a couple questions that I am going to address that had been sent to me via DM and or email. And so without further ado, I'm going to get to the questions. Again, thank you for joining wherever you are tapping in. So, this first question says, I feel that because I'm pretty, I deserve to be treated like I'm that girl. What do you do to be treated like that girl in your daily life? Thank you for your question. And this person wanted to remain anonymous. So, first of all, the idea of that girl, um, I don't know. I feel like it kind of has an air of the Mean Girls energy to it. It could be, again, because of my age and that, I'm matriculating through my 40s at this point chronologically. And so for me, while I love songs that, have lyrics in it that say things like, I'm that girl, or I'm that one. That is not something that I personally, I would say, subscribe to. But getting to your question, how do I show up as that girl? Well, for me, what I do has little really to do with my appearance, but it has to do with my energy and or charisma. And I get all of that because I am confident, because I'm prepared. So I know that regardless to how my hair is looking, or if my makeup is done right, I know that I am going to be prepared to do what I need to do. And so I don't rely upon my beauty as being the negotiating factor in being that girl. But again, thank you for your question. And hopefully, I've given you something to consider um, as you're moving through life. So, again, thank you for your question. And I will go to another question. Another question that I have is, do you feel that being pretty has helped you in your relationships? Why or why not? Again, good question. I do feel that my appearance has played a role in that because obviously um, I'm female, and so I'm the one that is pursued. So it just makes sense that I'm pursued because of my appearance. But in my overall mindset, I still haven't, I guess, fully either accepted, or I haven't fully, I don't know, tapped into the idea that it is because of my beauty that I am being pursued. I feel that it is an aspect, but I feel that, I mean, for example, in New York, there are beautiful women everywhere you look. Now, if I happen to be like from, I don't know, somewhere or living somewhere like in middle America or something, but here, this is one of the beauty capitals of the world. So on any given day, you're going to see models and various different people that work in the fashion industry, for example, and or are news personalities, and or podcasters, radio personalities, or whatever the case is. But the point is, people are often ready or camera ready on any given day here in New York. So even if you come out your house feeling like, I am that girl, there's going to be somebody that when you see them, they are going to bounce you back into reality to make you know that you are not the only one that happens to be someone that is beautiful or pretty. But to answer your question, do I feel like beauty has impacted my dating life? I'm going to say yes and no, because I don't feel like it's an easy answer. As I have just explained, I do feel like I said it's played a role, but I don't feel like it's played a huge role in and of itself. And then I think I got time for one more question. Okay, this is a good one. So this person writes, if you could change how beauty is perceived, how would you do so? Again, good question. I think that one thing that I would do if I could change how beauty is consumed or perceived is, first of all, I would make people understand that no matter how one looks on the outside, they are still human. They still have good days and bad days. They still navigate all of the spectrum of emotions that everyone does. And so, one of the things that I would want to change is this idea that if you are attractive, that means that you are not having to navigate difficulty. Because, again, as I have stated, my life has been no stranger to difficulty, but I know that I have been blessed and fortunate. And so I don't want it to seem like it's all doom and gloom and it's all um, cloudy and sad. But I'm trying to make sure that I am answering from the most transparent and realistic place given my lived experience. So, again, thank you so much for your questions, and please continue to send them in via either email or whatever platform that you are watching me on. Send those DMs, and I'll make sure that I answer them and work them into episodes each week, because, again, I am creating this platform and community not just for myself, but hopefully it is something that all of us can together benefit from and evolve as a result of being involved in the community of a village for us. So, we are at the point where we are about to transition into the second part of this episode. So, again, hopefully you choose to tap back in with me. We are going to move some things around. And again, stay tuned. We have more to come for this episode. So, I'll hopefully see you in a couple more minutes.
Party 1019. The new Party 1019. The new Party 1019. New York's #1 for throwbacks.
What's up? What's up? What's up? I ain't never seen you before. What's your name? What's your name? You might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen. She might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Can I get your number? Been going through your Instagram. Look like a model. I swear that I'm your biggest fan. You should think smarter. I'm coming up with business plans. Going full throttle. I swear I wanna be your man. Telling everybody that she's off limits. You get all my love. I ain't got a limit. Don't tell your friends. No, it ain't their business. It's between you and I. See, this could be real love. I'm not trying to play games. And I know that I don't know you, but I feel some type of way. From your smile to your hairdo, just everything about you. She's picture perfect. I'm knowing that she worth. Ain't scared to approach you. Confidence you want me to. I wanna give you the world. Take a chance, pretty girl. Prettiest girl I've ever seen. Girl, she might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Can I get your number? Been going through your Instagram. Look like a model. I swear that I'm your biggest fan. You should think smarter. I'm coming up with business plans. Going full throttle. I swear I wanna be your man. Telling everybody that she's off limits. You get all my love. I ain't got a limit. Don't tell your friends. No, it ain't their business. It's between you and I. Listen. I read your latest caption. Is that the truth or is you capping? You said you was ready for love, so I hit followed and I tapped in. From your style to your tattoos, ain't nobody bad as you. She's picture perfect. I'm knowing that she worth. Ain't scared to approach you. Confidence you want me to. I wanna give you the world. Take a chance, pretty girl. Prettiest girl I've ever seen. Girl, she might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Can I get your number? Been going through your Instagram. Look like a model. I swear that I'm your biggest fan. You should think smarter. I'm coming up with business plans. Going full throttle. I swear I wanna be your man. Telling everybody that she's off limits. You get all my love. I ain't got a limit. Don't tell your friends. No, it ain't their business. It's between you and I.
Streaming online at party1019.com. This is New York's #1 for throwbacks. The new Party 1019, a Nexus radio station.
Finally, I get a chance to grace the stage with the one and only Tasha Ray.
Well, welcome to the second part of Red Lipstick Conversations. Again, I am your host, Tasha Ray, and this is a very special Friday because I am joined by not one, but two Black men. And we are going to be talking about all things pretty and beauty related. So without further ado, I would love it if you would tap in and let the people know who you are on my platform.
DWI, New York's most influential producer, the pioneer of podcasting, POP, podfather of digital media in New York City. And yeah, that song, we coming in off that was the title Prettiest Girl. You got move your mic a little closer to you just so we can make sure we hear you.
Yeah.
People in the back hear you. Prettiest Girl. And the topic ironically is about, is it pretty privilege or what did you say? Because
It's pretty skin deep.
It's pretty skin deep. All right, so
But before we get into all that, we need to first of all know, could you introduce yourself to the audience and welcome to New York. It is a cold, kind of rainy day. It's kind of doing a lot outside, but I feel like this song made all of us feel warm. So I feel like it's a great way to kick off Friday. So go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience.
I appreciate that. Yeah, what's poppin', y'all? My name is Tyler Watts. I'm an R&B and pop artist born and raised in Miami, Florida.
Welcome. So I'm just going to start and dig right on into why pretty? Why is that the topic of all the topics that you could have picked for a single?
Well, me and Jacquees was just, cooking up in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And we
that was a light flex. Me and Jacquees was just hanging out today. Okay, we'll get to that, but go ahead.
But yeah, excuse me, we was cooking up in the studio and we just decided to make a song, for the ladies, for all the ladies to just vibe to and to just, vibe to the song. So yeah, that's for all the pretty girls right there.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna age myself probably by when I say that when the song Pretty Girl Rocks, when that song came out, that was like the anthem for myself and my little crew, especially when it came to getting ready. We all want to feel like we're pretty. So whenever a song is, I guess, celebrating our beauty, but doing so in a positive, because one of the things that as a mom that I feel like I have to battle is this idea of separating beauty from sexuality. And I feel like it's something that's necessary to be spoken about. But when I was listening to your lyrics, you talked about Instagram and social media, and that's something also I want to kind of talk about from your perspective. So when you're scrolling and you're looking to, do what you do in your generation, does natural beauty play a part anymore, or are you more so interested in the quote unquote package and or BBL look? I'm just interested from your generation.
And that was a lot. That was a lot, right? You didn't know you was gonna get into all this early.
Right. Well, I think all women are beautiful. In my opinion, I think all women are beautiful, but I feel like it's their personality that really truly makes them, pretty, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like I can definitely again relate to that, because I think all of us have heard the saying that beauty is only skin deep, and that's the reason why I picked it for a topic, because I think we all know somebody in our circles or in our lives who may have been considered to be beautiful by society standards, but then they treat people like trash. And it's almost as if the way in which someone acts almost cancels out their, I guess, attractiveness. And so I want to know from your generation, just heard from his generation, when you're scrolling, do you scroll first of all?
Do I do what?
Do you scroll on social media?
Yeah, I couldn't hear you. I'm like,
do you scroll on social media, or do you just post for business purposes?
I scroll. I think that's just a natural thing that we do. I don't have no intentions when I be scrolling half the time, and then I realize that I'm aimlessly scrolling, and then I just stop. But yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm. And so does beauty? Obviously, it plays a part. And what kind of part does it play when you are scrolling?
Well, I'm attracted to all things beauty, and it's not just women, so it's anything that I'm attracted to, good looking cars, good looking food, good looking scenery. So beauty is definitely in the eye of the beholder. But, I think that the natural things that I see that I think looks good, the majority of people probably would say good. And that's what I wanted to throw it to our young guest, because, he's been on the earth maybe half our years. We don't want to age ourselves, right? But I want to know about, for him to be inspired to make a song like that, like what does, what things in life, what draws inspiration for you to come up with a song about beauty at such a young age? Because how old are you now? You going into?
I'm 18.
18.
Mhm.
See, men tell
Say that with
age
his bass in the voice.
Exactly. I mean, he just got to 18 and he like, I'm 18. Yeah, I'm 18. I can do some things now. But yeah, so tell us about what inspired you to even, I mean, you're an artist. So at the age of 18, how long you been an artist?
Well, I started singing when I was like 4 or 5 years old, but I really started taking it serious when I was like 9 or 10, and that's when I made my first song.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what inspired you? Was it your family, or was it things you seen as a child?
Well, yeah. Excuse me. Well, yeah, it was mainly like, cause like I said, I've been singing since I was 4 or 5 years old, and I will always just be walking around the house, singing Michael Jackson songs, Chris Brown songs, New Edition songs, and it got to a point to where I was like 9 or 10, where my parents, they actually realized like this kid really has something, and that's when I started taking it serious. And then I started taking vocal lessons from my vocal coach, Miss Betty Wright. Unfortunately, she passed away.
Another light flex. Miss Betty Wright, this is vocal coach. Your parents must be, some people in some high places. You got Jacquees and you got Miss Betty Wright as your vocal coach. Yeah. That's dope though. So hopefully you understand, the levels of where you at.
Not everybody has that road. Is what he's trying to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely do realize that.
Okay, but take advantage of it. But not back to the regular schedule program. I'm sorry.
Oh, not at all.
She's the investigative reporter. I'm the music guy. So we're gonna go back and forth about. So make sure you just follow me, but then follow her, please.
I appreciate that, but I feel like you just said about beauty and how you've pulled from various different artists. I think that that's a testament to your family as far as probably playing all sorts of genres and music for you to listen to and dance to and to, help to form you into who you are. Because I feel like obviously everybody wants to be unique, but those of us that may not be familiar with your body of music at this point, being that you are just now getting into it for real on the various different platforms that you are, who would you say that if we listen to a song, people can say, oh, okay, that reminds me of? Is there anybody, or are you just in a whole lane by yourself from your perspective?
Well, I definitely think a lot of people do compare me to Jacquees, because I am signed to him. So some of my music lately is definitely influenced by him. But I definitely do still think I have my own unique sound, and I put my own little sauce on it to make it sound like Tyler Watts instead of Jacquees.
That would make sense. If you're coming up under a camp and you sound familiar or similar to that, whoever the person is that's on top of the charts. Which is not a bad thing, but it's also good for you at this age to understand that, and then to find ways to always, do something a little bit different, a little bit your way. I mean, I got an age gap too, so then your perspective is gonna be way different. So you can put that into the music. I think that'd be dope too. Yeah, I mean, sure. I just seen we was in the green room, and I just seen somebody just did a cover for the song that he just posted that we just played.
Yeah,
some random person on the internet just did a cover for it already, so he's already out of here.
Yeah, that was so dope to see someone cover my song, because I grew up on covers. Like I was seeing covers like all the time, and to see that someone actually put the effort in to cover my song, it just.
What was your biggest cover that you did that you got a lot of internet love from?
My biggest cover. My biggest cover. I think my biggest cover was probably when I did a New Edition song at my school. So I had like this little group at my school, and they had a talent show.
Can You Stand the Rain or Candy Girl or what?
It was Candy Girl. It was Candy Girl. Yeah, it was Candy Girl. I definitely feel like that was my biggest cover.
Have you met any of those guys yet? Any of the Bobby, Ricky, or Mike?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's gonna be dope when you finally meet them. I'm at
for sure.
Yeah, because they're gonna appreciate the energy that you got at this stage of your career. Do you dance? Because all those guys dance. You name Michael, Chris Brown, and so all of them dance. Do you dance?
I mean, I'm working on it. Okay.
I ain't know that too, because the women gonna want to see you Now you don't always have to. You can find other ways to swag it on the stage.
Yeah, but that's definitely something that I'm working on. It's something that I'm developing as far as like in this stage of my career, because that's definitely like plays a big part on stage too. So yeah, I'm working on it though.
I like that character development. I also appreciate your energy and just being humble and realizing that you do have places to go as far as how you can continue to hone your craft. I think that anybody, no matter how long you've been in the game, if you feel like you have arrived, I feel like that's a dangerous place, because I feel like all of us should continue to, see how we can elevate, see how we can innovate, because like I said, I come from hard news and journalism. And so initially, to be honest and transparent, because I'm always about being transparent with, I call it my village, because I feel like when the content creator came on the scene, it seemed like no one was interested in real journalism anymore. And so for a while, I had to kind of find my footing again. And so that's where the innovation and realizing that I couldn't ignore social media, that I had to not just depend on whatever platform that I was working on, whether it was ABC or wherever. So I'm grateful, to have the partnership that I do here with DSN, because not only is it a Black-owned network and station and production company, but they support the idea of people coming from wherever they come from, whether it is from, someone that's, come from news, or someone that's basically come from nothing and now there's something. There's room
Right.
for everybody here at the table here at DSN. And so I definitely got to give you your flowers for that,
No
creating
doubt.
that
No doubt.
environment.
Appreciate it. And I was again in agreement. I was talking to the team that he has a team, so Tyler came with a team, and I was saying that this platform that we have here, the DWI's or DSN's Top 25, it's important for these independent artists that's on their way to come up to have this radio experience from someone like myself that comes through the walks of all the different levels of media, the way it transforms. So you being an internet baby, because that's the era you was born in, do you know about cassette tapes and vinyl and CDs?
Yeah,
All the various iterations of music.
Has your family put you on? You seen a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
stash?
I mean, of course I wasn't around to experience that, but I definitely, heard about it from my mom, my dad,
So out of the process of recording, what's one of your favorite things to do? If you have one thing to do, record, perform, wherever you know you don't dance that much, but you still might love performing or promoting your music. Which one do you enjoy doing most?
I would definitely say performing. Because I feel like it's a different feeling, walking on stage, and even as, an artist that's not that well known, to see the crowd just vibing with your music and just giving you positive feedback and things like that, I definitely think it's a great feeling, like an amazing feeling.
So I know that people are asking me, how can they get to where you are at such a young age? We already have talked about how you've been surrounded by greats in your life. And so if you were to give a piece of advice of somebody that's watching this episode, what would it be as far as if they want to follow their dream in music?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of cliche, but you definitely have to grind hard and you have to stay consistent. Like, that's one of the most important things that I can say. To get to the level that you want to be, you definitely have to stay consistent. Keep on going, because eventually it's going to pay off. Like, I've seen it. I feel like I'm experiencing it that right now. So I definitely think you have to stay consistent and just stay passionate,
I love that, because one of the things I also talk a lot about is we often see the finished product on social media, but we don't often see what goes on behind the scenes. And so one of the things I try to do is to always, at least once a month, show people what I look like without the makeup and without the hair and the nails and all of that, just so that people
I mean,
understand.
that's not your hair?
Oh yeah, it's connected.
Oh, she said
that's a blessing.
without the makeup, not the hair.
But I'm saying where every piece doesn't have to be, in place, because I just want people to understand that yes, there's a process, but a lot goes on behind the scenes. And you brought up an important point that I want to dig a little deeper on as it pertains to putting together a team. And so you mentioned your family and the roles that they have played and the various other people that you've had in your life. How important have your family and your team been as far as getting to where you are today?
I definitely think my team has definitely played an important part in my career, because even from the jump, like my parents, my grandparents, like they've all been supporting me from day one. Like they know this is something that I can do as far as well as me. So my dad, he's like my biggest fan. Like he wears my merch everywhere, like just so people could stop him and say, who is Tyler Watts, like just to get my name out there. And my mom, she like my stylist, so she be putting,
Who's responsible for the look today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, and my GMOS, she's also my biggest supporter too. So I definitely think my whole team is just played an important part. And just having that support system behind you, it like kind of makes you want to go even harder,
I love that. And to those of you all watching, I feel like an important thing to also take from what Tyler just said is whenever there is somebody that is in the forefront, there are other people that are helping that person. But not only that, a lot rides on your shoulders. And even though you are at the age that you are, I feel like you're carrying it well. I have interviewed people, like I said, for decades now. And one of the things that I feel like has been consistent is people always shout out their team, and whether it's their production team or whatever, because they want people to know that, yes, you see the lights, camera, and action, and you see me how you see me, but I'm still a person too. And I feel like that's something that we want to, make sure that we drive home, that while we all have our dreams and goals and aspirations, we all are still humans. We all are still navigating difficulty or navigating hardship. But I think there's this idea that once you reach a certain pinnacle of success, that there is no hardship. And that's something that I always want to kind of make sure that people know, to have, empathy for one another.
Right.
Again, are there any questions that you feel like I'm leaving out?
No, well, I'm curious to know what exactly, when it comes to the production of the project that he's working on now, like who else are you working with? Producers, any sneak videos that's coming out, previews, events that's coming up that we may know about in New York that we can help support, or wherever, actually, because we travel as well too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely worked with a whole bunch of dope producers. Tay Tay, he produced, my song "Have You Ever." It's out right now on all platforms. XL Legal, he produced "Pretty Girl," song that's going crazy right now. So I've worked with Sean Garrett too as well, big name.
Shout out to Sean Garrett.
Yeah, he's super dope. He's real funny too. Y'all can stay tuned for videos. We're shooting a video for "Prettiest Girl," so make sure y'all stay tuned for that. That's coming out soon. And yeah, shout out to FYB, Jacquees, everyone who's helping me put this project together and just making it what it was.
So you from Detroit? You born in Detroit, but you live in the A now?
No,
I'm Florida.
I'm from Miami, Florida.
Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did I get Detroit from?
The next guest.
The next guest. Oh, that's another young artist that's coming up.
Next guest.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Get my guest.
He started that from the top. That's okay. We all have our moments. What I want to talk about though is, can you tell us what was it like winning the Rising Star Award?
I mean, well, I feel like it was an amazing feeling. It was definitely, I felt like gratitude, and it was a lot of honor, into that award. So I'm very appreciative, and it was a great feeling.
Yeah. So I'm taking, was it a sense of validation? Was that the first award that you won as it pertains to music, or have you received other awards? Because I'm looking at your resume here, which is very nicely laid out. Thank you for sending that to us.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it was validation, and it was the first award that I've ever won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just a great honorable feeling.
So it was surreal, would you say?
Yes, I definitely would say it was surreal. Yes.
I love that. So where all can people hear your music? The various different platforms. Where is it available?
Yeah, so all of my music is available on all platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, SoundCloud, like everywhere. You can just search my name. If you search up Tyler Watts, my name will pop up and you can stream my music.
And as of next week, Monday, it will be on our top DSN's top 25 in the playlist every day from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Right here on Party 101.9 or on iHeartRadio and on our website thematrixstudios.com and on every streaming platform that streams iHeartRadio.
That's what's up. Yeah, I appreciate that for real.
Yeah, nah, you earned that. And a lot of people have different ways that they can be a part of the list. People who've seen the list and sent music in. You came by way of my guy Nils, and you can definitely when I hear a song and I know the song is official, like it automatically gets put in there. Like so, it don't always be about politics. A lot of the time, the industry could be very political, but sometimes when it's a good song, it got to be on there because I want people when they listen to the station to vibe out and be like, oh, this is new music. Who's this artist? And have that feeling. And then your fans is tuned in. Her fans is tuned in because she did put an interview in. Another person, another all these people will be listening all at the same time to hear their record, but they're gonna hear your record. Why? Because I'm not gonna tell nobody when their record's gonna play. You just gotta tune in every day,
right?
And just vibe out. You know what I mean? But that's everything can't be so Apple, Spotify. Like you just go there. Like you have to have that feeling of being appreciated, and then now anticipating when something next is gonna happen.
Right.
So I want to keep that going because once that's gone, then I don't know what the music industry is going to be once it's just plug and play. So you get a chance with the people that you're working with. I'm sure they're going to be teaching you about the good old days of how things used to be. So you might be that last generation that can actually still hold on to some of that old school stuff, the old school vibe. You mentioned Michael Jackson and Chris Brown. So those are, generations back, but still the top.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. And I'm just excited to have a new song to get dressed to. And to put into my rotation because I am not always the best at listening to new stuff unless one of my cousins or somebody sends me something. So I'm grateful that you took time to, like I said, stop by and talk because I feel like the art of conversation is also being lost.
Right.
I feel like people are spending a lot of time on screens, whether it is on a handheld device or a gaming device. And I feel like sometimes just to be able to feel the energy, like you said, one of the things you love about where you are right now is being able to tap into the energy when you perform. And I feel that same rush every time I sit down because I never know what I'm going to get through the interview. Yes, I have my questions, but depending on the answers that leads, the rest of the interview. So I just want to thank you for, taking the time to do that today and to show the audience that, you don't always have to be super prepared or everything doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes you just have to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up is a big part of being able to meet your next opportunity. And it's obvious that you have been putting in the work. So like I said, I'm thankful for your time here today. And I am going to have to bring this episode to a close. But before I do, I just want to make sure that people know where to find you on Instagram. So if you could give people your handle.
Yeah, so y'all can go follow me on Instagram at The Real Tyler Watts. Like I said, prettiest girl, people. I also did that with Ball Greasy. And Have You Ever is all out right now, all platforms. Like I said, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, everything. So I really appreciate it if y'all would support. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for having me too, man. It was a blessing.
No doubt. The pleasure was all ours, and we'll definitely have you back on, whether it's social, StreamYard or wherever you are, just to check in and see what's going on in your neck of the woods and keep promoting whatever's next coming up.
For sure. Appreciate it.
All right.
Love that. And again, Village, thank you for taking the time to tune in. Again, I am your girl, Tasha Ray. I am here in studio every Wednesday and Friday, typically from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. But we had an in-guest studio person today, artist, and so we were able to accommodate and we move things around. So again, you have to be ready to get in where you fit in. And thank you for your time. And I will see you same place, same time on Wednesday. Be safe and happy Friday, everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up? I ain't never seen you before. What's your name? What's your name? You might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen. She might be the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Can't
To make it. And then the second one is you're at